I'm going to be the bearer of bad news, Richie.
You're right.
We are going to go for a break. Just while we... Wait!
Oh, Jim!
Oh, the break!
Jim!
See, this is all you have. Experience commentary. You say the word break and the players instantly get into the game. Right, Jimbo has arrived on the scene, so we won't go for a break. We will get the game started shortly. We don't have to panic.
Much to your dismay, it sounds like you were eyeing up yourself a little tasty brew with a couple of sugars.
I was thinking about a cup. To be fair, I'm quite upset that Jimbo's come back. I was thinking cup of tea, get myself ready for a grand final. But we don't need a cup of tea. We don't need any more extra energy because we have enough here right now.
Yeah, we're ready to go with Oddball Fissure. It doesn't look like Shady's on yellow team either, so we have avoided any mistakes like that. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Apologies in the chat, but again, it's all Jimbo's fault and all his internet provider's fault as well. So we take no blame whatsoever. In fact, what we do is we deflect it and send it to the person that it requires to be on. So here we go. We will be Oddball on Fissure, Dan. Finally, some Halo action.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize. I think that was some quality content, really. We got an insight into your life, how bad Guinness is, and a majority of things, including Tashi playing F1. But we are going to jump into Oddball, finally. No yellow team, as you said. 150 points to win, 12 minutes, yada, yada, yada. You know this by now. But realistically, this should be an amazing series and hopefully worth the wait.
Worth the wait. We are hoping for Jimbo. We're on board with him. It seems only right to show him and showcase what he's all about now that he's back from his internet problems, but is taken down top middle by Seek It. But they have got the man advantage at the moment as two of Cartel's members fell. And Snipe Drone picks up a perfect 5 just off the track there. And we see the early points just scoring towards Power, but not by a lot, Dan.
Yeah, not by a lot, but just touching the ball and letting the other team know that you are willing to jump on that ball. You're going to get the scrappy time. You're already getting in their heads, trying to play the early mind games. They're going to have the early control, the early points. But Snipe Drone at the moment is just roaming around. He's just looking for kills. He is on the hunt, looking for his prey.
A tasty 5 onto that member of Cartel, and that will stop him right in his tracks. Now immediately puts shots down onto SLG as well, and I don't know if Snipe Drone can be stopped. Will he be stopped? But at the moment, he's putting down some serious damage and allowing his team to rack up some points.
Eventually, he is stopped, because if he wasn't, then that was probably going to be a scary thing with him just roaming around. Seeker should get this kill, and actually the trade comes through in the end. As we move over to Kimbo now, gets a triple kill and will get the ball time. This is looking really good in the early stages for Power.
Kimbo not afraid to pick up the ball. You see a lot of players who are main slayers decide to drop the ball or not utilize the time that they can get from it, almost that they're too good to hold the ball. But not with Kimbo. He'll rack up a couple of points, but just for now, Dan, they've gone 3 dead.
Yeah, surprised that Legend is zipped in there, not even acknowledged the ball. He's been able to pick up a double. Really, probably not good enough at watching angles there from Power, but they have a quite significant lead still. But SLG able to ninja himself across the map, do a couple of little sneaky beaky jumps, and now he's going to pick up some serious ball time. Use this vantage point to get a clear view on where the team is going to be pushed from, so we can communicate that to the rest of the team and make sure that they can actually get a decent amount of time here.
Yeah, Legend scampered away, but now Legend, of course, has been putting down some damage across the map to make sure that any push from Power is stopped in its tracks. And if it does make it through, it is significantly weakened. Overshield does pop, it goes into Jimbo's chest, and he should immediately push this ball guy.
Yep, and he is going to push him, and he should be able to at least get the ball thrown off the map. You would have thought. You can see already SLG is considering it, and no, SLG goes for the little greedy play. Thinks, I'm going to try and survive. But then he thinks twice, and he doubles back on himself. But usually when you get the overshield, you should be rewarded with at least some ball time. But I guess by SLG stalling for that extra second, it meant that they weren't able to pick up the ball time as much as they would have wanted anyway.
Yeah, I think the team Power just anticipated that SLG was going to drop the ball, but instead he managed to keep the ball in his hands all the while, not only racking up more points down, but allowing his team to get back on the map and be a factor again. And because of that, by the time the ball respawned, Jimbo's overshield was completely gone. It was wiped clean and he was taken down.
Yeah, and a couple of players kind of exposed themselves because of it, because you're completely right. They thought that the ball was going to be played, so they go top middle, and then once you are top middle, you're very vulnerable. A very neat play by SOG, maybe unintended, but either way, it's worked out really well. As Mose picks up a kill and will be there to protect the ball now. Just throwing a couple of nades here to ensure there's no one trying to sneak up behind and having a crafty little jump towards them.
Yeah, now Mo gets himself into an engagement. It is taken down by SLG, but then of course Snipe Drone takes down SLG. So bodies falling all over the place, but it looks as though the chips have fallen in Cartel's favour, and they start scoring up some points with Kimbo back base there. Will he get taken down as we're on board with Legend, as you can see? But Kimbo manages to get himself a kill, but keeping himself alive as well. And Jimbo gets a kill onto SLG just off screen. Ball gets played, but that is great work out of Kimbo. Dan manages to keep himself alive and keep himself a threat on the map.
You can see why everyone's trying to prioritize the tree houses. Of course, one of the best places to hold the ball. Whilst it won't necessarily be the most successful place to gather time, it's the ability of where you can throw the ball off so quickly and you can quickly turn like defense into offense. You can throw that ball off and then everyone just gets aggressive, goes for slays, and then you focus on picking up the ball once it respawns.
Oh, Snipe Drone, it just manages to keep himself on the map as this Overshield's about to pop. That plasma grenade is spun up into the air and almost cut him out unawares there, but Overshield this time, instead of Jimbo gets a backpack onto SLG just off the shot there. Don't know if we caught that on the feed, but Overshield taken off the map. If Jimbo can't have it, Dan, nobody can.
No, Jimbo says, you are not allowed this. This is my property. And we are going to see a lot of like fights down bottom middle for that Overshield. We're going to see the contesting in the early stages. It's whether someone can get an advantageous situation where they're able to pick it up uncontested so they can get the timing on it and then they can maybe delay it a little bit later. All these things can really influence how the map goes, but very close in terms of actual ball time at the moment. Neither team being able to get too much of a significant advantage. That ball gets played, and Shady, he wants some of this.
Shady was a little bit away from his team there and wasn't able to provide some sort of support. There was no real damage going down, and because of that, his team were forced to play the ball. I don't know whether he was just a little bit slow in that flank, but because of that, they've lost the ball. But in the scramble now, it looks as though they might be back out on top.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Ball getting thrown towards SLG though at this point, and he knows there is another player top mid, so he just wants to get towards his team. And both teams doing really well at just staying within a certain proximity of the rest of their teammates. Like, aside from that Shady situation, the majority of the time, there's always someone there or thereabouts to trade off with, or get close to, or just back and forth, make sure you get that little bit of a peek coming out from them when you are weak. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in probably a 1 versus 2, because the other team is also going to be trying to do this and try and bait and switch successfully as well.
Something that I'm surprised by when I look at the scoreboard really quickly is that SLG actually has almost all of the ball time for his team, 71 seconds. So I don't know if that was spoken upon before, that he would hold the ball and let his teammates play around him, or whether it's just being, at the right place at the right time to pick up the ball.
Yeah, I mean, SLG is an absolute slayer when he wants to be, but again, he's one of these players that wants to get the job done, and he's been on teams where, even though he is predominantly a slaying power, he's been alongside players who have perhaps been more slayer-oriented than him. So he knows how to play that objective, and almost by being in those teams, it's actually really helped shape him as a player, because he's not scared to do that objective. There was probably a time years ago where SLG would not be getting his full time.
Yeah, and at the moment he's willing to fill in the spots wherever his team need him, whether it be hold the ball, run the flags. He does not matter as long as they get the W come the end, and he'll be hoping that is the case by the end of this series. But he's been threatened top middle and is finally taken down by Snipe Drone. Jimbo gets himself into a gunfight as well, as looks as though players are bottom middle. I don't know whether Overshield is late down there, but there probably really shouldn't be a reason to be down there otherwise. But at the moment, Snipe Drone is taken down, of course. And now we have Shady up and towards that treehouse that you talked about before, Dan, and the ball is starting to rotate towards the treehouse as well.
Basically, if Cartel was a restaurant, SLG's the grill chef, he's the kitchen porter, he's the waiter, he is the barman, he is a little bit of everything right now. But he's just fallen off the map, so, well, he's also the customer at this point. But you know what? The customer is always right, so even though he fell off the map, it does not matter.
It doesn't matter one bit, because his team are currently winning, but now Power have started to rack up some points, and it looks as though SLG got baited into an engagement there as well. Jimbo managed to play and stay alive as well, scampered himself away, and ball still down for the moment that they have got the numbers advantage momentarily.
Yeah, we're starting to get closer towards that 150 points total though, but a little bit of control coming out from Power. Jimbo needs to win these engagements, but he is found on the back foot, but at least Snipe Drone's there to pick up the pieces and ensure that no ball time is going to be picked up just yet. And it's going to be a case of who actually wins this ongoing engagement as to who is going to be picking up this ball time. But Snipe Drone doing big work with the headshots. As you can see, a real struggle to get any sort of control here.
Yeah, a real scramble between both teams. Every time there seems to be an engagement. The player wins the fight but it's half shield, then somebody comes in and kills him, and then someone comes in and kills him, and before you know it, all these bodies just stacked up on top of each other and nobody actually has any ball time. But over shield, you see in your screen there, Kimbo got a little picture of it, a little glimpse. He knew it was going to get taken away from him, and SLG takes away his life as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Shady has got control of the overshield here. He's able to take down one in Jimbo. They've got 20-second advantage still at this point, and he's saying, you know what, screw this. I just want to get the ball time. I've got a little bit of extra shield. I can afford to get away with this, and he's been able to find himself at Red Treehouse now. Survives, gets away, ball time, 20 seconds away now from Cartel, going a game up in this series.
We're used to seeing overshield be used as an aggressive tactic, but instead, Shady opted to use it as a defensive tactic and really have that extra shield, being able to get away with the ball, and because of that, they're able to rack up some more points. So great play out of him to really utilize that overshield and secure points on the board, because that's all they need at the moment. Only need 4 more points, Dan. Make that 3. It should be a GG. No re. That is 1-0 in favor of Cartel. And Power showed signs of life, Dan, but Cartel just had too much in that particular engagement.
Yeah, really impressed from Cartel there. Power had opportunities to win that game if they could have won that kind of really big scrap we saw towards the latter stages of that game. If they were able to pick up that one extra kill, they probably could have got away with the ball and come back into things and maybe even won. However, SLG and the rest of the boys in the restaurant that I talked about. I mean, I'm kind of just picturing now SLG as in all these different roles. Like, he just comes and he takes your order. He then cooks the order. He serves you the drinks at the same time. He comes to question. You ask for the manager because there's something wrong with your food. SLG also comes along. He says, what's wrong, sir? And you said, hey, didn't you serve me your food? He said, yes, I am the entirety of this restaurant.
I'm just wondering, it sounds a lot like the movie I Am John Malkovich. I Am Malkovich? Is that the movie where everybody in the movie is Malkovich? And essentially SLG is everybody in this. Is this just a matrix that we are in, Dan? And SLG is Mr. Anderson, or is he Mr. Smith in this analogy?
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking of different movies where SLG could play multiple actors. No, it sounds like I'm saying the rest of the team didn't do anything, because they definitely did. Like, honestly, Cartel looked incredible there, but it's just how SLG has transitioned as a player and grown as a player to be able to do a little bit of everything. Like, he's not a one-trick pony. Instead, he is more than happy to do the nitty-gritty. He gets his hands dirty.
Yeah, he was down there in the trenches. He got the ball time. He got the points scored on for Cartel. And because of that, they are 1 game to the good. 2 more of those, Dan, and they'll close out the series.
Yeah, maybe they can go the whole tournament without dropping a map here. That's 13 in a row after the previous 12 from the series they've played prior. But we jump into a game of Slayer then. And maybe this is going to be a chance for Power to try and reassert their dominance and how good they are on this map.
Jimbo looking to answer back in the game, but in the series as well, as he gets some shots into Legend, backs him down off Rockets. I don't know whether Legend just sort of slipped there off the little silver, but because of that, he's now re-engaged. Jimbo thought he'd back down, but now Jimbo has Rockets.
Oh, Jimbo
fires one towards his teammate. I don't know if it did damage, but it done just enough to ensure that now Cartel have all the kills in their favor.
Maybe there's some arguments going on. Jimbo just saying, you know what, if I'm going down, you are coming with me. And now we see Rockets in the hand of Legend. So it's 6-1, this early advantage. SLG also pressuring, but Shady, I think, has found himself a little sniper rifle doodle. So he's just going to be waiting on elbow here, and he is probably going to take faces.
Yeah, looking to find some visors is Shady, and he's definitely capable of it. But early signs now, Dan, 9 kills to 2, and that is not the start you wanted. If your Power and Mose gets his face peeled by Shady, and he's rotated from red corner to blue corner, he's ever flowing, ever moving. He's being shapeless, Dan. They can't catch him.
Right in the eyes, right between the visor, as Sims would probably say. And don't even say it wasn't a good impression, because everyone knows that's exactly what Sims sounds like. But 12-3, make that 13-3. Shady is starting to look pretty tasty with this sniper rifle. Shady
going off at the moment. I have to say that was a pretty accurate impersonation of Sims. It must be said.
Yep.
I'm just expecting to hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at some point, and then we pretty much nailed it. We've
got him. Shady.
Shady just finding bodies now, doesn't need to find the face because he's already weak enough, but now looks as though he's going to be contended with another player. Will he be able to find the face of him as well? But no, looks as though he's back down, gone towards Rockets. A trade up towards that Rockets, but up by 10 still. Sniper rifle still in the hand of Shady.
Connect there. He might have even connected, done enough to help the team, but you can see how he's maneuvering his way around the map. Like, he knows the angles, as most of these players should do, but at the same time, when you're on the opposition team, you need to know the angles to avoid. They're trying to take him down, but they just keep walking straight into headshots. Shady popping off, unfortunately for us and himself. he's run out of sniper ammo, but maybe when that next one spawns, we'll see him just trot his way over towards that side of the map. Snipe Drone, though, has picked up a couple of rockets, so this is starting to look, well, potentially interesting for the blue team, but honestly, maybe it's not going to be enough.
I'll tell you one thing, is that I play Connect 4, Dan, regularly.
Do you?
Shady plays Connect 1. He just finds faces. That's all he does. Just finds faces, takes people down. It doesn't matter. He doesn't even seem to aim. People just walk into his crosshairs. It's the easiest thing ever. You just need to press a shoot and people die. As Moles gets taken down in the mace.
Are you a like diagonal winner, or are you like just a top-down dropper?
Oh, I love a top-down, me.
Yeah?
Drop it down, dip it low, pick it up slow.
I mean, it sounds a lot like you, but 26-13 now. We need to see some huge improvements from Power.
There goes Legend.
Oh, see you later, Legend. Maybe it needs to be a sniper rifle drop. We need to see Snipe Drone get hold of that sniper rifle, and maybe we've seen success here from Cartel by keeping Snipe Drone away from his true love.
Just as quickly as you can get the kills, you can lose them just as fast on Coliseum. But if Power are going to answer back, they need to start to do it now. As Snipe Drone does have the sniper rifle, but is taken down by Legend. And now Kimbo looks to go have a sniff as well. He's on the prowl, but it looks as though he's been baited out and baited hard. As Legend now has the wig wobbler in his hands instead, but he then falls. It's all going Pete Tong here for anybody that holds a sniper rifle. It's cursed.
Every time I see Snipe Drone part ways with the sniper rifle, it's like, you know, the end of Fast and Furious where the two cars go separate ways. And it's been a long day. And it's just Snipe Drone without a sniper rifle. And it's really sad. It gets the tears going.
Yeah, one person that will have tears in his eyes come the end of the series is Jimbo if it keeps going in this vein of form. That much is for sure. Rocket launcher just popped though. Kimbo up there, but immediately gets fired by Shady, who just jumps around, bounces around. He's playing parkour at the moment then.
Yeah, if he wasn't playing on Xbox, I'd be like, is this man aimbotting? Because his shot is unreal right now. Like, I'm so impressed with this squad. Like, of course, I was able to dip in and out of previous tournaments, but I didn't realize just how good Cartel are looking. They are looking a terrifying force at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely terrorizing the EU scene at the moment. Nobody seems to be able to stop them when they're in full force and their roster is fully filled out. But at the moment, though, Power need to answer back, because they're very shortly going to be finding themselves 2-0 down in the series if they can't pick themselves and pull themselves together. I
think this is too much to come back from now. You're already thinking about game 3 at this point. You're saying, okay, we've got to bring this back and we've got to do a reverse sweep if we are going to win this grand final, because there is no way you're having a comeback like this. Maybe against your average Joes, but these are not average Joes. We've already said they own restaurants. They're an entire cartel. We know this. They are not going to drop this game.
They are not average Joes. As a matter of fact, they're G.I. Joes. One-man wrecking crews all over the place, though, is the problem. Is that they're all such monsters. And they win, even when they're down shots, just like that, they seem to win their engagements. They at least get a trade. And they only need one more kill. It should be coming very shortly. We're on board with SLG. Will he be the one to get the final kill? It doesn't look likely, as there's nobody around to contend with. And there goes Sika off the beaten track, takes down Jimbo with a 5-knuckle shuffle. And that will be the end of his game. And it's going to be 2-0 in favour of Cartel, Dan, and they look so impressive.
14 maps in a row. If they make it 15, it will be an undefeated tournament for them, and they will very much firmly stamp their names as the best team around right now. That will be their 3rd tournament win, and to win it in such a dominant fashion will definitely say, okay, someone needs to rise to the occasion and try and take down these guys. You can see the stats on your screen. Shady 16-5 after, as Jersey describes, peeling wigs. Now that would suggest that the opposition team are wearing wigs. Richie, what if they actually have an okay hairline? Have you thought about that?
Scalp scraper. That's what I'd say instead.
All right, well, that's slightly more graphic, but we'll go along with it. Surely. Yep.
So at the moment, though, Shady looking to be a force. We're going to be going on to Truth, but instead we're going to need to roll a giveaway real quick. We did promise it was going to be game 2, so maybe Caelan will roll that just as we head in towards our game number 3. I see somebody in the chat saying 5-knuckle shuffle. It's a John Cena finishing move.
It is.
You should have a look at it. It's quite impressive. He dusts off his shoulders, drops down the fist, and most of the time he gets himself a nice little 3 count.
Well, that giveaway is going to be rolling, Richie, so someone is going to be lucky in the chat.
Someone is roly-poly, and I'll leave it to Caelan to roll the dice and to pick the winner. I'll leave it all in his capable hands because, Dan, we've got a game in our hands. It's going to be Truth CTF.
And, you know, the man, the myth, the legend that is Great Red Shift just had a little typey type to me saying that Cartel have only lost 4 maps in the 4 tournaments. And, of course, haven't lost a map yet in this tournament. So they've been improving tournament by tournament, which is pretty terrifying if you are also in the EU scene right now, because if they are getting better, then just think about what they will offer in future tournaments.
So they're averaging round about 1 map drop a tournament.
Yep.
That is incredible.
So that is maybe something that Power need to play on here. If they are averaging 1 map drop, then they need to be taking this map and actually making sure they drop a map this tournament. Otherwise, they are going to be, of course, our winners here in this grand final. But a little bit scrappy in the early stages, as expected. There's nades everywhere right now. People are getting stuck. People are getting smacked around. No real control. And that's kind of what happens at the start of Troop. Everyone's just like battling back and forth to try and get those advantageous positions.
Yeah, we will see a bit of a scramble. I don't expect to see any flag caps for the moment. Maybe when that next camouflage pops up and we see teams transition over that side to try and control it and ensure that they are the ones who get to pop it into their chest. But at the moment, it looks as though Cartel defending pretty well. They're a little bit far back in their own base, and Snipe Drone gets a kill. And now Jimbo will transition down to P3. Has a member of Cartel to contend with, helps his teammate Snipe Drone pick him up. Snipe Drone down to no shields, and now Jimbo puts some shots in and backs that guy down to no shields. I would have liked to see Jimbo maybe try and stay alive there now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he tried to stay alive, but when you've got these guys on Cartel hitting the shots that they do, it just makes things so difficult. Like, even if your main objective is to stay alive in a particular engagement, you are going to struggle to do so, because the amount of perfects we've seen, the amount of shots we've seen being hit, there aren't any sniper rifles to kill wigs, but there are, of course, bullets that can fly from everywhere around the map, and the team shot has been phenomenal from Cartel.
SLG doing a great job of stopping that flag from getting any further. It is over the halfway point, but it is in a bad spot, Dan, to try and touch. It is out in the open bottom middle, and you want to try and make sure that Cartel or that Power spawn over towards the car side so they can't get any eyes on it. But unfortunately, it looks as though this will be a dead flag.
Great movement, though, from Seeker just to instantly shove himself across the map, blast his way to the opposition side, and now he can pick up a camouflage if he wants to, but he opts actually to go for the flag run. He says, you know what, screw the camouflage, I think we can get a flag cap here if I toss this far enough. He may be incorrect, though.
It looks as though camouflage went over towards Mose, who opted to try and pop it into his chest, but was immediately greeted with Shady, who took him down, and now that will be 1-0 in favour of Cartel, and it's all going Millhouse at the moment for Cartel then.
Yeah, it is looking really good for them. I was concerned that maybe not picking up the camouflage might have been at their detriment. It might have come to bite them in the bottom, but instead, just being able to throw that flag a little bit further has worked out good for them. Big double coming out from Kimbo, but it is not enough to hold back this Cartel squad. They are swarming. They are not giving Power any sort of room to breathe. Like, Power are very good when they are able to control the map, when they are able to look at a map and say, hey, we need to dissect this, we need to do this, we need to do that, we hold this bit. Cartel are saying, you know what, screw that. We're not going to allow them to have time to think, and they are really struggling because of that. They are just being swarmed off spawn.
Yeah, Cartel play a lot like Splice did, where it's all action all of the time, they're always in your face, and even when they're down numbers sometimes, you still feel like they can pull it out of a bag, such as how individually skilled they are. Snipe Drone gets taken down by Shady, and then Kimbo takes down Seeker before he can get any momentum going. And now we're on board with Mose. Can he get a flag cap? Can he bring this series back into order?
You know, there is some good to come out of this from Power. Like, if they lose this series 3-0, I think giving any sort of momentum towards Power, towards Infinite, like giving them that reason to practice is going to only be a good thing for European Halo. Because when you get these players putting in the time in Halo 5 and getting themselves nice and ready for Halo Infinite, of course we don't know how a Halo Infinite is going to play. Is it going to be similar to Halo 5? Is it going to be similar to a previous Halo? We don't know. But of course, keeping your aim nice and crisp, keeping that chemistry is always going to be a good thing. So I hope that if they do lose this 3-0, they go back to the drawing board a little bit and they take a look at things and they say, hey, how can we actually beat this squad? We've done it once, but we got our bottoms handed to us here.
Yeah, this will definitely be fuel for them trying to work out the puzzle that is Cartel. What do we need to do to stop them from being successful? How do we stop their game but also play our game at the same time? But Snipe Drone's doing a lot at the same time. Gets himself a double kill, and that's a triple kill now for Snipe Drone. So great work out of him. He's now down the toilet, pre-nades that toilet, but nobody seems to be dropping down. He's there, he comes, he gets that kill as well. This could be a captain.
That was just music to Snipe Drone's ears there, seeing someone drop down in the plasma grenade, exploding and hearing their screams, and now he's got control of their spawn. They can start moving this flag, but on the opposition side, SLG says, you know what, I fancy running this flag as well, but that could go against them, although from behind. Snipe Drone does find himself struggling a little bit, but support from the rest of the team means he's survived, but Shady finishes him off, and Shady's done pretty well to get important frags throughout the series.
Snipe Drone done a great job there, and because of that, he was able to ensure his team brought that flag back and got the cap. He was able to stop SLG from getting that flag over the halfway point as well, and because he was putting some damage down, his teammates got some easy cleanups, and now we're at 1-1. 6 minutes and some change left on the clock. Still no camouflage to be seen for the moment, Dan, but we are seeing some signs of life from Power.
Yeah, this has to be the game. I mean, of course, that's obvious at this point to get back into the series, but I think if they can win this, then there's no reason why they can't get back into the series. Like, they'll get that belief in them once again. They'll say, okay, they are beatable. We can just ignore the first two maps. Let's pretend they didn't happen. Let's pretend that we're 1-0 up in this series. And in the moment, they have a little bit of map control at the same time. Kimbo being an absolute nuisance in the opposition base, just dipping and dodging and diving around, but not really making the most of it right now because he can't actually find anyone. Eventually, SLG comes to play, but he's joined very quickly by Seeker.
Off the beaten track. The same thing Kimbo was doing, Shady was doing on the opposite side, but Shady finding a little bit more success as he was bringing some more players back towards his own base, and because of that, Kimbo was left isolated, and when he finally found a Cartel player, he actually found two, and that's never what you want, Dan.
No, never what you want indeed. If there's multiple Cartel players swarming towards you, then you're going to be in for a bad time. Shady trying to get a little bit of P control here, trying to control this pink side to ensure that they can actually get a control of spawns. Kimbo is caught just sprinting through P1, almost manages to wiggle his way out of it, and he was sprinting for a good reason. Camouflage was going to be coming up, but Shady's been able to secure it, and if he can stay alive, he could do some damage here.
2 down at the moment for Power. Kimbo left towards that P side. Shady wisely opts. He's not going to put any damage into him. Instead, trying to get some control. Gets the plasma pistol. Sees Snipe Drone in the corner of his eye. Takes him down as well. But now he gets taken out from front base. Heads up. Good work from Kimbo.
Yeah, really good work from Kimbo to ensure that that camouflage was stopped in its tracks. Otherwise, we might have been seeing potentially flag capture number 2, but still all tied up 1-1 at this point. It's getting very scrappy between these two. Neither in the mid game being able to show any real control, but maybe a flag pull here for Legend. He has been able to pull it. Jimbo's trying to contest as best as possible, but this flag has traversed the map and is probably going to be put in. It's going to be 2-1 to Cartel.
2-1 to Cartel, and immediately Legend firing some shots out towards the car side as well. Could we see this be a quick double cap? If that's 3 dead. Seeker left alone over there with Mose, but unfortunately for the side of Cartel, they were able to take down, or Mose was able to take down their teammate, and because of that, that will stop any double cap possibilities. But great job out of Cartel and Legend in particular.
Yeah, Mose though with a huge kill realistically. If he hadn't have found that, they could have found themselves that. A double cap, as you quite rightly say, so Mose might not realise how important that kill was, but it was very important for them to stay in this game. Slightly on the back foot now are Power, and they are being hunted down. That's going to be 2, make that 3, and the flag is going to start to move. I think all 4 are dead. Kimbo is the first spawner. If they can take him out, it's probably going to be game here, Richie.
Tournament life on the line, flag already over the halfway point as it comes towards the base. Is there anybody over the car? There isn't. That is flag cap number 3. And that will be 3-0, not dropping a single map all tournament long, Dan. Incredible.
Flag cap number 3, 3-0, and tournament win number 3 for Cartel as well. They really are starting to make a name for themselves here in these European tournaments. And it's a shame for Power. They weren't really able to get themselves into that tournament, but that's because Cartel were just really able to close them out. You can see the stats on your screen. 18 assists from Legend is the first thing that screams out to me. But also, look at the amount of assists on the side of the blue team. I mean, Power, you can tell their team shot was on, but unfortunately for them, they just probably weren't winning as much individual engagements. Even with Snipe Drone going 27 and 16, the flag runs just weren't there. Yeah,
Snipe Drone going 27 and 16, so heavy in the Slayer column. You have to ask questions as what weren't they doing right? Because the Slays are almost completely equal across the board, but they've lost out on the cap stand. So was it the fact that the camouflage just wasn't coming for them at the right times, or were Cartel able to get the kills when it mattered most and make the most of them?
And I'm surprised that Power haven't been able to get a map. No, I'm completely honest. I know Cartel are good, and I was expecting Cartel to perform here, and I did say I thought they were the favourites, but I thought Power were going to get maybe a map, maybe 2, maybe make this a 5-game series. However, Cartel are the dominant force, and I'm pretty excited to see what they have to offer in the future.
Yeah, well, history would have, history did dictate that last time we did go to a game 5, so we were expecting a great series, but I'm getting word that we're going to do another roll Cartel is the word because they, of course, won the series. No longer is it Jersey. Just as quick as the love gets given to me, it gets taken away.
So apparently Assault won the giveaway, but because it was named Jersey, he didn't
Yeah,
want it. He decided his biceps were already big enough. He
yeah.
didn't need anything kind of flowing and injecting the pump anymore.
Out of pure disgust,
Mhm.
Assault entered the giveaway, won it, and said, "I don't want, just like I don't want a Guinness, I don't want your nameplate. So instead,
Because
we're
you're
going
a
to
melt.
roll again." A melt. Yeah,
That's
that was
what
the
he
word
said.
he used. That yeah, consistently said melt as well. So I appreciate the love and support from Niels. Always great out of him. We're going to roll that any second now, waiting for, I believe. Wait, is a problem? Nope, we're still waiting on Nightbot to take care of things for us. F for Jersey is right, Mitchell. F for me. F in the chat, all over the place. Pay your respects. But at the moment, still looking to roll the winner. Really wish Caelan got his act together, Dan.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, I guess we could talk about what just happened. 15 maps in a row for Cartel. Like, so they've only dropped 4 maps in 4 tournaments, and not a single one this tournament. Like, is anyone going to be able to stop them on this train? Who is going to be willing to put a little bit of extra practice in? I know Halo 5 is an old game, but the fact that we've got consistent tournaments with prize money, like this is great for the Halo scene. The fact that we still have something to play for. I want to see someone step up and say, actually, we're going to take this money away from you and we're going to try and win some of these tournaments. Is it going to be Power? Is it going to be Mocket? Mocket are the ones making the changes, Richie. So for me, that says, hey, we want to be able to topple these teams, but the changes, they didn't work in this tournament.
Yeah, Mocket try as they might, they made it as far, but they came into that powerhouse. It was the immovable object that was Cartel, and unfortunately they got taken down. So I reckon it's probably a toss up between your Mocket and Power as to who the second best team is. But is this a case that we talked about before, how we want rosters to try and stay together? Is this the point where Power go back to the drawing board, they work on the problems, they maybe rewatch the feed and see what they've done wrong at the times in pivotal parts of the map, and maybe try to improve on that? And like we say, we don't want to see them change players because every one of those players on that roster are capable of big things.
Yeah, I want to see them do that, but whether they will or not, it remains to be seen. Like, are they going to put the time in? That's the biggest question for me. I don't think they'll make changes. There's no point in making changes at this point. Whether this will be the roster we see in Infinite, I am unsure.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Look, we are probably going to find all these European players try and get together the best and biggest European team they can. And when you've got players like, we'll probably get Riots, Chalky, all the boys will be coming back and trying to get on top teams. And that is just going to throw everything up in the air. Brandon Stones with his power ring, I'm sure will be joining things as well.
Yeah, and we look forward, of course, to all of that and all that goodness. But that just about does it for our coverage of the Halo 5 Pro Series. I've been Jersey1, and I'd like to extend my thanks to Dan Gaskin for joining me, taking all the shots from him, despite the fact that I love him, but he just gives me nothing but pain, slagging me trifles, me apple tarts. It didn't matter. Me Guinnesses. He just takes swipes at everything.
It was a pleasure, Richie. I thoroughly enjoyed my time, and it's always good to work with you.
Nonetheless, we will be getting ourselves out of here. I'd like to say to everybody, have a good evening, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.
Every time you say that, Harry, they throw things. You need to stop over. Oh no! My good one. Blummett's not alone here. Oh no, Blummett.
Desire here needs to watch out.
Oh, big nades. Oh, big nades.